Let me share what's happening in my own life right now. I've set a goal to do weights twice a week. And I've also set a goal to do pool exercises twice a week. At my age, I know how important it is for us to keep doing exercises. It's important for maintaining muscle mass. I know the research, and that's what it tells us. I also know how much better I feel when I move my body on a regular basis. I know how the positive results I get from exercising because my energy improves, my mood improves, everything improves as a result of me having done exercise and moved my body. But it's been difficult to keep up with. I've had doctor's appointments pop up right when I'm supposed to be at the gym. The timing is off on some of the classes that I'm taking. Some are too early in the morning and some are too late in the evening. So that's been a problem for me. Another issue that I've had is that those cloudy days, those days where you don't want to even get up out of bed, let alone leave the house. And sometimes I think I may be suffering from that sad disease that's out there. And I don't want to call it a disease, but I think a lot of people suffer with it. And it's from having the lack of the sun in our life. It's called seasonal affective disorder. And so that may be something I'm struggling with as well in terms of trying to get up and get out of the house and go move my body. And I hope you all are not having those same kind of things as well. So here I am, knowing what I should do, wanting the results, and still finding myself not following through consistently on what I need to do. Does that sound familiar? This is not a lecture. This is just a conversation. The deeper question is, this got me to thinking about something. What is behind not doing things that are good for me? Why are we so resistant to what we know will help us? Why do we set goals with good intentions and then let them just slip away? Why is there such a gap between knowing what to do and doing it? I don't have all the answers. I really don't. But I think part of it is goals require us to change our routines, to push through discomfort, to show up even when we don't feel like it. And at our age, we've earned the right to be comfortable, right? We've given years of hard work for decades. Why should we have to push ourselves now? Except that comfort can become stagnation. That ease can become decline. These are our garden years. We're choosing to flourish and not fade. We're choosing that. And flourishing requires growth. Growth requires goals. And goals requires focus, even when it's hard. Growth requires focus, even when it's hard. If you've ever grown tomatoes, you know they need room to be supported. When you first plant a tomato plant, the seedlings are out there and they're small and they're pretty and they're really manageable. But as it grows without support, it spreads across the ground. The fruit touches the ground and it begins to rot. The plant becomes tangled and diseased and unproductive. But when you stake it, when you give it support and structure, it grows upward toward the sun and the light, and it begins to produce fruit. It produces fruit abundantly. The fruit stays clean and healthy, the plant reaches its full potential. I've had tomato plants grow up to the roof. That's how tall they can get. That is what goals do for us. They are the support that give our lives structure and direction and support. They help us grow towards something instead of just sprawling all over the place or even sprawling through our days. But here's the key. Even stake plants need tending to. You have to tie them to the stake as they grow. You have to adjust the ties. Sometimes you need to add a second stake to support that extra, to give them extra support. The same is true for our goals. Setting them isn't enough. We need a support system. We need to make adjustments. We need accountability. But there are things that derail our goals. Let's be honest about that. Life interruptions are real. Doctor appointments, family emergencies, caregiving responsibilities, health setbacks. These aren't excuses, my friends. They are reality. Our lives at this age are complex. We can't pretend otherwise. The timing issue is real. What works for someone else's schedule might not work for mine or yours. That 6 a.m. class might sound good and great in theory, but if you're not a morning person, you're setting yourself up to fail. And then there is that motivation problem. We start strong. January 1st, we're on it. We're ready to go. We're fired up. We're committed. We got this, right? By February, that excitement has worn off. The goal is still good, but the feeling that carried us has faded. Plus, let's name something we don't talk about enough. That negative self-talk, and I promise you, we all have it, and I do it too much. That voice that says you're too old. Why are you even trying? You should just accept your limitations and be grateful. That voice is a liar. Yes, my friends, that voice is a liar. So what do we do? How do we actually stay focused on goals that matter to us? Let me share what I'm trying with my exercise goals. And you can take what resonates and leave the rest. First, I'm changing the times. If the current class schedule isn't working for my body and my rhythm, I need to find classes that do. Maybe that means the afternoon on pool classes instead of the 6 a.m. morning ones. Maybe that means weights on different days. The goal stays the same, but the structure adjusts to fit my life, not someone else's. Second, I am committed to go even when I don't feel like it. Because here's what I've learned. I always feel better afterwards. Always. Even on the cloudy days when getting out of the door feels impossible. Once I'm in that pool or lifting those weights, something shifts. My mood lifts. My energy returns. I remember why this matters. The feelings lie to us. They tell us we're too tired, we're too old, we're too unmotivated. But when we push through and do the thing anyway, the feelings change. Third, I'm going to find an exercise partner, someone to hold me accountable, someone who's counting on me to show up so they're not alone. Because it's one thing to let yourself down, it's another to let someone else down. That social connection, that mutual commitment, that's powerful. That is powerful. Here's what I think works for goal setting in the garden years. Be clear. Not I want to exercise more, but I will do weights on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I will do pool exercises in the afternoons on Mondays and Wednesdays. Those are specific goals. Start small. Don't revamp your entire life all at once. Pick one or two goals that matter most and focus there. I'm not trying to meal prep and learn Swahili and organize my kitchen at the same time. I'm focusing on movement because that's what my body needs most at this time. Building flexibility. Life will interrupt, and that's not failure, that's just reality. If you miss a workout because of a doctor's appointment, you haven't failed. You just adjust. Do it the next day, or do 3 that week instead of 4. Progress, not perfection. Create accountability. Tell someone. Write it down. Put it up somewhere where you can see it every day. Join a class or find a partner. We need external structure because willpower alone isn't enough. Remember your why. I want to exercise not because I'm trying to look a certain way or impress anyone else, but because I want to be able to play with my grandchildren. I want to be able to travel without fatigue. And I want to live independently as long as possible. When the motivation fades, the why has to be strong. It has to be strong to carry you. And then celebrate small wins. Did you show up twice this week? When you committed to doing so, that's success. Don't wait until you've achieved some long-term goal, something distant and a distant outcome to acknowledge your progress. The motivational truth is, I need you to hear me today. You're not too old to set goals. You're not too old to grow. You're not too old to challenge yourself. These are our garden years. We're still blooming. We're still reaching toward the light. We're still capable of so much more than the world is telling us. But flourishing doesn't happen by itself, or it doesn't happen by accident. It requires intention. Intention. It requires focus. It requires showing up even on the cloudy days, even when our feelings tell us to stay home. The goals you set matter, not because they make you more productive or more impressive, but because they keep you engaged with life. They keep you growing. They keep you becoming. Then there's a deeper question behind not doing things that are good for us. What is it? I think it's fear. Fear that we'll try and fail. Fear that we're too old to change. Fear that it's not worth the discomfort. But here's what I'm learning. The discomfort of pushing myself to exercise is nothing compared to the discomfort of losing my strength, losing my independence, losing my vitality. The temporary inconvenience of changing my schedule is nothing compared to the long-term cost of giving up on myself and the risk of trying and struggling like I'm struggling right now with my exercise goal is so much better than the certainty of not trying at all. So, here's my invitation to you. What's one goal that matters to you right now? Not what you think you should want, not what someone else expects of you, but what would, honest to goodness, make your life better, richer, and more vibrant. Set that goal, then stake it. Give it structure, give it support, adjust as needed, find accountability, show up even when you don't feel like it. And when you stumble, because you will, we all do, don't quit, adjust, recommit, keep growing. The tomato plant doesn't produce fruit overnight, but with the right support and consistent tending to, it becomes abundant. So can you. I'm right there with you, figuring this out one cloudy day at a time. Let's do this together. This is Gloria, and this is the Garden Years. Keep growing, keep blooming, and keep staking those goals. If you find this content helpful, please subscribe and share it with your friends. See you next week.